bum 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 bum. It's Monday, 22nd of June, and it's Magic Monday live. Yes, it is. And of course, I'm being topical today. My goodness, this doesn't happen very often. But here we are. I'm ready to go. And I have a live subject. I'm trying to talk in time with the music here. I should just get on with it. What the heck am I thinking about? Here we go! Alright, let's do it!
It's the start of the week. Grab your coffee cups. It's Magic Monday Live.
It's Magic Monday Live, and it's the 22nd of June 2026, the day that the Prime Minister resigned. Now, that could have been many times over the last 10 years, because we seem to go through them here in the UK. We really do. However, it is the one that is relevant right now, because this is the day that Sir Keir Starmer said, that's it. Effectively, I cannot do this anymore. I am out. And it's all happening this morning, isn't it? So I thought, I'm going to talk about this. But I don't want to be political in any way, because I do choose not to be political. To have a chat with me personally, I will tell you my political views, no problem at all. But I never want to do it and just broadcast, because I don't think it's fair that people can't have a little chat back and give me their thoughts. Even though the vast majority of people I know think pretty much exactly the same as me. So I've spent the last 2 hours writing, because I thought I'm going to end up doing a newsletter about this. So I'm going to share it with you first. This is the thinking in headline form. And then what I'll do is I will do the newsletter as a sort of a more chatty type thing. And then I will do a Substack version, which will go into a bit more detail. That seems to be my flow at the moment. So the question is, have you ever been sacked or made redundant or pushed out, or you've decided to leave because you just no longer can fit within an organisation? And I know it feels brutal and it feels terrible. And it can definitely feel personal. There is no doubt at all about that. It feels personal. Even when people say, don't take it personally. Isn't that the worst advice? Don't take it personally. It's all personal, especially because it's your job. And when somebody says, don't take it personally, I wrote here, work is never just work. Excuse me. It's identity, routine, your money, your status, confidence, belonging, and it's also very much linked with future plans. So when somebody says, don't take it personally, that is mad. That is absolutely mad that people would say. Of course you're going to take it personally. But the losing your job experience, let's say experience of losing your job, can become one of the most useful things and one of the big turning points in your life. So I wrote this book here called Flip It, How to Get the Best Out of Everything. And this is all about reframing. And in here, you will find out exactly what you would need to do if you were in a situation where you were sacked or made redundant or whatever, because it happens to so many people. And what we do is we seem to go through an emotional journey. And the emotional journey works like this. So, number one, the shock. How the heck can this be happening? Do you think a week ago the Prime Minister knew he was going to be sacked by his party? That's effectively what's happened, by the way. I know he said that he wants to resign, but over this weekend he said that he doesn't have enough support. So how can this be happening? And that's that punch moment, that moment, when work says that they are going to have some rounds of redundancies and your name is on the list. How the heck did that happen? Or when your boss says, I need to see you in my office, and they sit down, and then it's actually that awful conversation. We're going to have to let you go. You get embarrassed, angry, you have fear, you get rejection, shame, confusion, a total loss of self-confidence. And this is because losing a job is like losing a version of yourself. That's the big thing that happens. Your identity is very much linked with your role. In most cases, most people, their identity is linked with their job. And when that title goes, it immediately means that a version of you has gone or is about to go. And then people go through this next stage, which is the story that they tell themselves. Now, some people go, this is great. This is just what I need. I'm looking forward to doing something else. I want to change my thinking. I want to change my life. And it's given me the push. That's great. That's better than, oh my goodness, I must be useless. Why me? Why not such and such at the desk down there? They're hopeless. How comes they get to stay? There's a reason for that. So the story that you attach to losing, that's the challenge. It's the story that you attach to it about losing your job. But the story that you attach is also optional. And I think that's the exciting thing. It's really interesting that you can absolutely choose to have a different story. So what happened is one thing. What you decide it means, that's something else. Number 3, it's unfair. Yes, it is unfair. Touched on that a second ago. Sometimes it is unfair. Sometimes it's politics, office politics, work politics. Sometimes it's somebody else's bad decision. Have you ever thought about that? Sometimes you weren't valued. Sometimes you didn't show your value. I hate to say that one, but it's true. People who are super highly valued tend not always, to be made redundant. Sometimes people say, I was doing my job, but is that enough? Is that enough? Wow. Sometimes you were absolutely brilliant, and it still happened. Don't rush to turn it into a lesson too quickly. Just sit with it for a little while. You don't have to pretend it doesn't hurt to prove that you are strong. Just think about that. So as we dive in, okay, this is the lesson, this is what I need to learn. Actually, it's okay just to hurt for a little bit. It's okay to have that. Number 4. Asking different questions can change the direction. So after you get over the emotional bit, and that can last for half an hour or it could last for half a year. It's different for everybody. So I've written this in a funny way. What can this now make possible for me? So basically, what possibilities does it create? Not immediately, not on day one. That might be a little bit too much, but eventually. So what questions are going to open the door for you? What can you make possible? So it could be a better role with something else. It could be a new direction. It could be a total reset. It could be the chance to back yourself. Is this it? Are you going to start your own business? Are you going to go and do something? You know, Keir Starmer's going to be all right. He'll just go on. If he's financially, he's going to be all right. But emotionally, that's the bit, isn't it? Yeah. You can take a proper look at what you actually want. Now, my son was made redundant about a year and a half ago. Feels like 5 minutes. I think it was about a year and a half ago. And I remember when the whole process happened, it was a classic thing where the company he worked for bought another company, and the company that they bought, when they merged it together, there was a whole bunch of people that weren't needed, but like a whole 3 departments or something just disappeared. And one of them was his department, so the whole department went. And I was saying to him, they might be able to find something else for you. He goes, I don't know, Dad, I don't know. There's a possibility. I'm really worried now. I was like, don't worry, everything's going to be fine. But you need to get prepared. Get mentally prepared for what this might mean. It could mean that you have 6 months without any work. What are you going to do during that time? Get yourself mentally prepared for it. Make sure everything's up to date. Do all this type of thing. But 6 months. That's how long it can take to get a job these days. And of course, he finished his job with his other company on the Friday, and 2 days later, he found a new job. And they wanted him to start immediately. So he actually ended up taking just an extra 3 days, and then started after. So he was off for a week. He actually quite liked the idea of having 6 months, but he couldn't do it. Never mind. So yes, preparing mentally for what it might mean, but it could be the big opportunity for you. Number 5, could it be a hidden gift? Being sacked, made redundant, or pushed out can teach you things comfort never could. When we get too comfortable, we don't learn the same way as when we're uncomfortable. It can teach you who you are without the title. It can teach you who your genuine supporters are. That's a good one. What you will never tolerate again. What you actually really want next. It can teach you how resilient you really are and how much you are ready for some change. Sometimes the door closing is not the lesson. The lesson is discovering you were standing in the wrong room. I'm going to be honest. ChatGPT gave me that one. I wrote my stuff and I put it in and I said, could you give me a little couple of extras to go with this? And it gave me that. Normally, I would always think, oh, that's all right, but then I would change it for my quote. But actually, that's a really good one, isn't it? Sometimes the door closing is not the lesson. The lesson is discovering you were standing in the wrong room. Thanks, GPT, for that one. Okay. So here's a reset that you can go through. And this is some of the things that I do with coaching clients. I do it all the time. So feel it. Don't pretend it's fine. It is what it is. Just get that lens looking in a different direction. Name it. Okay? Say what actually happened without making it your whole identity. I was made redundant. I'm moving on. Feels different from I'm a failure. Learn from it. What have I learned from this? What have you learned? Great lesson, isn't it? What have I learned? And then move. Take action. One action, one call, one conversation, one application, one plan. I really do believe that taking action is a great healer. When you're busy, when you're doing stuff, when you're out there, that's what starts to make a big, big difference. So, if you've ever been sacked, if you've ever been made redundant, if you've ever been pushed out, forced out, challenged to leave, or left because a place no longer fitted the person who you are or were becoming, yes, it hurts. But it can also be used, and it can be used to say, okay, that was the past. It's not to excuse anything about your behaviour or the behaviours of others. Not to pretend that rejection's fun. Oh yeah, I can just bounce back. It's not personal, because it is. But you can ask what's possible. Because sometimes the thing that actually brings down your confidence is also the thing that you can use to build your confidence. Should we see who's here? Right, there was a really good one came in here. So this is Roxy and Loki Kent. When I realised concerns about an ex-colleague who was flung risky, I think it was posting, is it? Yeah, it was doing risky pictures online and allowed kids to cheat in exams. I was blocked from getting another job as I was on a fixed term for 2 years. What the heck? That's bizarre. That was on Instagram. Let's have a little look over here. This is on good old what's that one? YouTube, Facebook and LinkedIn. That's it. So Jeannie Duncanson says hello. Matthew Bird says, hi Michael, I'm tuning in from Khon Kaen in the land of smiles. Oh, nice. And then here we have exactly, this is it. Jeannie Duncanson made redundant 4 times. And she goes on to do amazing other stuff. I've resigned and retired, but I've never been sacked. Of course, I carry the sack. That's the difference. That's Mike Fatchety, Henley Santa. I carry the sack. Ha ha. Matthew Bird says he's been made redundant in 2017. I made it happen. Health issues in 2018, emigrating to Thailand in 2019, now living a simpler life. Wow. Dawn Booth, when one door closes, another opens. Take advantage of every opportunity. Perfect, Dawn. I agree. No, but I've left a few positions when they were not the right place to be. That is brilliant, Angie, and I bet that felt terrible at the time. Alfie Joey, I've interviewed the PM. See, this is great. You only get this from Alfie Joey. I've interviewed the PM, Prime Minister, 3 times on the radio. Politics aside, a very decent, down-to-earth man. Really nice off-air, not always the case. No, he does not have the flair of the younger Blair or the chaotic cut-through of Boris, but I wonder if time will look back at Starmer as what was needed at the time. Stability and stoicism after years of turbulence. Joey, I've done this 10 times in my life. Alfie Joey is the man when it comes to stuff like that. He knows. He's been there. He's got the t-shirt. Jeannie says, leaving a job can be gutting, but it's a great time to change direction. Couldn't agree more. Angie Vale, anyone else getting ads? Is this an ad for the job, Angie? You should apply. Angie Vale for Prime Minister. Brilliant as ever. Thank you very much, Diane. That's very kind. Walked out of the last job as it was so toxic. Realised I'm unemployable. So finally set up my own business. Couldn't be happier. Now, I thought about this, Diane. It's one thing to be able to say that you're self-employed so you can't be sacked. It's not true. You get sacked all the time when you're self-employed. You get sacked by staff who leave. That's you being sacked. You get staffed by clients who say, that's it, I'm done now. And also we get sacked by suppliers who no longer want to work with us. Wow. Angie just got a promotion. Well done. So yeah, we do get sacked. I know. Unemployable and then still get sacked. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that today. A little bit longer than normal. I'll be back next week for more Magic Monday. Let's see if we can get the former Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, on. That'd be fun. Bye.